The morning sun spills golden rays through the dense canopy of trees, painting a serene picture over Tieu Diep's modest hut nestled in the countryside. The uploaded photos capture her sitting cross-legged on the porch, a tiny puppy squirming in her gentle embrace. Her voice is soft and soothing as she coos, "Shuh, stay still, little one. Look at all these pesky bugs. Wait, let me get them off. There we go, lie down, let me check you properly." With careful fingers, she brushes away the insects, her eyes twinkling with affection. "Oh, you're such a good boy. Back home I had a pup just like you. Hold on a moment," she murmurs, reaching for her phone. Dialing with a hopeful smile, she says, "Hello, Diep? It's James. Got any plans today?" After a brief pause, her voice brightens. "Perfect. I've got a work trip to Ben Kim. Care to join me? I'll swing by in about 15 minutes. Diep's warm reply crackles through. "Sounds good, I'll be ready. Take your time if you need to." James nods to himself, a faint grin tugging at his lips. "All right, just wait for me then." He turns back to the puppy, stroking its fur. "Looks like I'm off to see Diep soon. Be a good boy, eat well, and I'll trim the grass for you tomorrow." The photos show him standing, the rural landscape stretching out behind him, alive with the chirping of birds and the rustle of leaves. He strides down a narrow dirt path, pausing to greet an elderly man tending to a buffalo. "Morning, sir. I need to head out with James today. Hope that's all right with you," he says respectfully. The old man nods, his weathered face creasing into a smile. "Go with James if you must, child." Diep beams. "I've already trimmed the grass for the buffalo, so you're all set. My chores are done. Thanks so much, I'll be off now." Inside the cozy kitchen, his mother stands by the counter, slicing into a juicy watermelon. The scent of ripe fruit fills the air as she glances up. "All finished?" she asks. James chuckles, holding out a piece. "Yeah, Mom, I peeled this for you. Try it, see if it's sweeter than usual." She takes a bite, laughing softly. "I overheard you on the phone. Who were you talking to?" He shrugs casually. "Just Diep. I've got a work trip to check with Lot in Ben Kim, and thought she might enjoy coming along for a bit of fun." Her eyebrow arches. "Is she free today?" "Yep, she is. Picking her up soon," he replies, popping a piece into his mouth. She nods approvingly. "Good, go then. This watermelon's a treat, son." As they savor the fruit, James leans against the counter, his tone turning serious. "Yesterday at the mill, a guy approached me with a deal, 50 tons of wood at a decent price. But with shortages and high import costs, I'm skeptical. It could be an opportunity, or it might be a trap." His mother's expression grows wary. "Be cautious, James. If someone's taking advantage of your current struggles, you need to investigate thoroughly." He nods, running a hand through his hair. "I plan to see it myself." He says it's from a cancelled tie order, Kyo and Mo wood. "But with John circling my company like a vulture, it smells like a setup." She sets down her slice, her voice firm. "John's a real threat. You can't let your guard down." James sighs. "I know, Mom. It's tempting, but I'm not jumping in blind. I'll check it out first." She offers a sage nod. "Trust your instincts. Go see the truth with your own eyes." He agrees. "That's the plan." Shifting gears, he asks, "Mom, any issues at Son's company lately?" She shakes her head, wiping her hands on a towel. "Everything's normal. No strange visitors, and the staff's doing fine." Relief washes over him and he smiles. "That's a weight off my mind. I was worried someone might target you." She pats his shoulder. "I'm holding up. But tell me, how's it going with Diep? Any wedding plans on the horizon? He hesitates, his gaze dropping. We've talked about it, but with her health still shaky and John causing chaos, we're putting it on hold. I'll take her for a checkup soon and tackle John first. His mother's eyes soften. Take it slow. Your father was over the moon when I told him. Sort out work, then focus on love. Grateful, he squeezes her hand. Thanks for getting it, Mom. I know you're eager for grandkids, but the timing's off right now. She chuckles. We'll wait patiently. Now go fetch Diep, stay safe out there. He grabs his jacket and keys, calling back. I'll visit soon. Bye, Mom. Outside, he checks his route on his phone. The photos revealing a winding road framed by lush greenery. Diep waits by the gate, the puppy nuzzling her feet. The afternoon unleashes a torrential downpour. The uploaded photos, images 001-132, depicting a treacherous, mud-slick trail as James and Diep finally reach the woodlot in Ben Kim. Rain lashes the windshield, blurring the world beyond as Diep presses her face to the glass, her breath fogging the cold surface. She points toward a group of locals splashing joyfully in a nearby stream, their laughter barely audible over the storm. Wonder what they're up to out there, she muses, her voice tinged with curiosity. James chuckles, wiping the condensation away with his sleeve. Looks like they're bathing. Where's that guy, though? He promised 8 a.m. The delay gnaws at his patience, a knot of frustration tightening in his chest. But they push forward. The photos reveal towering stacks of timber draped in sodden tarps, water pooling at their bases and trickling into the earth below. A figure emerges from the gray curtain of rain, Tung, his jacket soaked, his expression apologetic. Sorry I'm late, the hills are a nightmare in this weather. I'm Tung, he says, extending a muddy hand. James nods, his eyes narrowing as he surveys the lot. This the wood? Tung gestures broadly, rain dripping from his cap. Yeah, check the kiomas at another site, being moved soon. Diep steps back, pulling her jacket tighter around her shoulders. I'll let you handle this. I'll wait out of the rain. Tung adds. Climb up, see for yourself. 6-7-year-old Kio solid stock. James hoists himself onto a stack, the wood slick under his boots, inspecting the logs with a critical eye. Seems a bit small, consistent quality? Tung assures, raising his voice over the downpour. Even throughout, I promise. The rain intensifies, a cold deluge that soaks through James's shirt, and he calls out, Diep, get under cover. I'll wrap this up quick. She hurries to a nearby shed, the photos capturing her fleeting silhouette against the stormy backdrop, her figure swallowed by the shadows. Inside the cramped, musty shed, the air hangs heavy with the scent of damp wood and earth as James runs his hands over the logs, his fingers tracing the grain. This looks old, rain soaked it deep, hurting the quality, he observes, his tone laced with concern. Tung shrugs, kicking at a puddle forming on the floor. Maybe 2 weeks exposed. I told you a week last time, my mistake. James frowns, his mind racing with calculations. If I buy, we'll need to adjust for water weight. 50 kilograms per ton fair with this weather? Tung nods, wiping rain from his brow. Rain adds heft, sure, makes sense. James presses further, his voice steady despite the storm. And the MO lot, how close is it? Tung replies, glancing toward the horizon. 10 km off, being hauled here now, shouldn't be long. James decides, rubbing his chilled hands together. Let's talk inside. Rain's getting worse and I need to see this through. The photos show the drenched yard, the tarps flapping wildly as they duck into a dry corner of the shed, the rain hammering the tin roof like a relentless drumbeat. Seated on a rough bench with steaming tea clutched in their hands, James leans forward, his breath visible in the cool air. I like the Kio so far. How's the deal shaping up? Tung meets his gaze, his expression businesslike. 30% deposit up front to start. James taps the bench, considering. And the MO, how near is it really? Almost here, should arrive within the hour. Tung answers, sipping his tea. James proposes, his voice firm. Since we're stuck here anyway, I'll wait for the MO, then pay 30%. Sound good to you? Tung agrees with a nod. Fine by me. What about shipping? James says, his mind already on logistics. I need it fast. My team will move it, no delays. Tung nods again. I'll cover fuel costs to speed things up then. James decides, pulling out his phone to check the time. I'll deposit 30 million now, 3 trucks tomorrow for the 50 tons. Can you spare some hands to help load? Tung smiles, setting his cup down. 6 from my crew, 3 from you. 9 should handle it in a day, maybe less if the weather holds. James nods, a flicker of relief in his eyes. Let's lock it in. If this goes smooth, we'll do more business down the line. Tung grins, clapping him on the shoulder. Safe trip back. Watch those roads, they're slick as ice now. On the return journey, rain taps the car roof like a persistent messenger. The wipers struggling to keep up. Diep breaks the heavy silence, her voice soft. All done out there? James nods, gripping the wheel with steady hands. Yeah, 30% secured, building trust for now at least. She tilts her head, studying his profile. You do this kind of thing often? He shrugs, his focus split between the road and her question. Only when deals dry up. First meetings need my touch, later they handle it without me. She nods, tucking a strand of wet hair behind her ear. So no more trips if this works out? Right, he says, glancing at her with a reassuring smile. But stay sharp, things can turn fast. She smiles back, her tension easing. Always do. He adds, his tone lightening. Hungry? There's a killer fish noodle spot just ahead, worth a stop. The photos show a quaint eatery nestled among the trees as they pull into the lot. The rain easing to a drizzle. 2 bowls, please, James orders, shaking water from his jacket. Diep wipes the sticky table with a napkin. You eat here a lot, don't you? Whenever I'm around, best noodles I've found, he replies, settling into a chair. She tries a bite, her eyes widening. Never had this, tangy fresh and that fish. What a combo. He guides her with a grin. Mix the spices in, let them blend. They bow their heads briefly in a quiet prayer. The hum of the cafe wrapping around them. Then dig in. Good, he asks, watching her reaction. Amazing, she exclaims, savoring the warmth. His phone buzzes sharply. Tung's name flashing on the screen. A shadow of unease creeping into the cozy moment as the clock nears 3:45 p.m. on this stormy Friday, June 13, 2025. The evening drapes a soft veil over the city as James and Diep settle into a quiet cafe on the 3rd floor. The uploaded photos, images 001-132, capturing them sipping iced tea, the twinkling city lights stretching out below like a sea of stars. The air carries a hint of jasmine from a nearby plant, and the hum of distant traffic filters through the open window. Tung joins them, his steps deliberate, his face etched with a mix of resolve and weariness. Good to see you both, he says, sinking into a chair with a weary sigh. I'm here for a business meet and thought we'd catch up. How's work holding up, James? Diep feeling better these days? James nods, stirring his tea. Busy, but I'm managing the chaos. Diep smiles, her fingers tracing the condensation on her glass. Much better, thanks to some rest. Tung leans in, his voice dropping to a confidential hush. I've got a confession to make. I'm an undercover cop. My deal with John was to track him, not to stab you in the back. If I wanted Diep, I'd have made a move by now, not sat on it. The revelation crashes over them like a wave, the photos freezing their stunned expressions. James's jaw tightening, Diep's eyes widening in disbelief. James recovers first, his voice thick with surprise and a touch of guilt. I'm floored, Tung. Sorry for misjudging you all this time. Diep adds, her hands clasping together. Me too, I never thought you'd harm us. Thank you for clearing the air. Tung exhales deeply, running a hand through his damp hair. John's a menace, strikes hard and fast or slinks around behind your back. He's been jailed before, got out on some technicality, and now he's gunning for your mill and Diep with a vengeance. James clenches his fist on the table, the wood creaking under his grip. She's staying with my folks now. John sniffed out her farm, and that's too close for comfort. Diep nods, her voice steady despite the memory. Someone tried to corner me, but James stepped in. This explains so much. Thank you, Tung. Tung proposes, his eyes locking with theirs. Let's team up. John's smuggling illegal wood and rigging the market. We need solid proof to bring him down. James leans forward, his resolve hardening. He's wrecked my business, hurt my people. I'm all in. Tung's gaze darkens, a shadow passing over his features. John's just a pawn, someone bigger's pulling the strings, and I haven't pinned them down yet. They're clever, staying out of sight. James muses, his mind racing. He's too young to orchestrate this alone. Someone's hiding in the shadows, using him as a front. Tung nods, his jaw set. I'll need your help to expose them and bring some peace back to this mess. It's bigger than we thought. James and Diep exchange a determined glance, a silent pact forming between them, ready to face the storm ahead. Tung softens, a faint smile breaking through. When's the wedding, you two? James laughs, the sound cutting through the tension. We've planned it, but John's mess has to be sorted first. It's got to be perfect, not rushed. Tung smiles wider, raising his glass. Fair enough. Wishing you both joy, Diep. Find someone who cherishes you. James, hold on to her tight. They nod, their smiles mirroring his. Thanks, Tung. Hope you find love too. You deserve it. He rises, admiration gleaming in his eyes. Your love's a rare thing, a light in all this darkness. Stay safe out there. They toast to the future, the clink of glasses echoing softly, driving home as the clock ticks toward 4:30 p.m. on this tense Friday, June 13, 2025, with hope flickering like a candle in the dusk. As they leave the cafe, the cool evening air brushes against their skin, the city's pulse slowing with the fading light. James glances at Diep, her face illuminated by the streetlights, and feels a surge of protectiveness. We'll get through this, he murmurs, squeezing her hand. She nods, her resolve strengthening. Together we will. The road ahead stretches into the night, the weight of their new alliance with Tung lifting their spirits, even as the mystery of the mastermind behind John looms large, a challenge they're now prepared to face head-on.